Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Rangers Review morning briefing for Friday, the 15th of September. I'm Derek Clark, and I'm delighted to say we're joined for the first time this week by Adam Thornton. How's it going, Adam?
I don't know if I'm quite ready for international football I don't know if I'm quite ready for the international break to stop. I was enjoying a wee bit of non-Rangers peace and quiet, but yeah, excited to get back into it tomorrow, hopefully.
Yeah. Lunchtime, of course, Rangers heading up to Perth to take on St Johnstone, and hopefully they come back with 3 points. They very much need it. And the press conference, which is usually around lunchtime on a Friday afternoon before a game, has been conducted. The player has been put up for the press just now, but Michael Beale was speaking at 9 o'clock this morning. Lots of big takeaways from the press conference, Adam. The big one: Todd Cantwell is out for the next 3 to 4 games, 3 to 4 weeks. Ditto Kieran Dowell. He won't be back anytime soon either. Huge blow for me, for Cantwell. I think it stems, of course, from that knock he picked up in the Old Firm game. Big blow. On the plus side, he said that Tom Lawrence is fit to start games now, and Kemar Roof apparently is in a good place as well. But the big news is that Cantwell will miss the next 3 to 4 games, as will Dowell. Your thoughts, Adam?
Yeah, not great. I think it sort of escaped my mind in the fallout of the Old Firm game that he had he'd taken that knock. It was only really last week that I realised about it. So yeah, not great. Timescales we'll take with a pinch of salt. I don't think anybody's ever come back in the timescales that has been said in these press conferences. So who knows? It is a bit of a shame. For me, Cantwell's been shunted about way too much during the first few months of the season, as you could see, quite a lot of players have. I was hoping we'd come back after this international break and we could get players settled down into positions that probably suits their strengths. That's obviously not going to be the case with Cantwell now. So yeah, it's all about how we adapt. But as you said, I think Lawrence coming back is really useful. He maybe doesn't have that sort of I guess ability that Cantwell has to maybe create out of nothing, but he certainly is a very good player, and hopefully he'll add goals, which is what we need. I don't think Cantwell has scored this season, so Lawrence coming in and doing that, I think would certainly lessen that blow, if not completely get rid of it.
Yeah, I'm with you, Adam. I mean, he hasn't been at his best this season, but he has been shifted about all over the place. There's not many who have received real pass marks this season. I'm thinking Jack Butland, perhaps at times, and flashes Rabbi Matondo, but very little players have really showcased themselves and showed that their true self this season so far. Michael Beale, interesting points. Kieran Dowell, incidentally, we knew when we signed him he's injury prone, so it's one of those ones. Injury prone players, if you sign them, expect them to be injured. So we'll see him when we see him, I guess. But yeah, Cantwell missing is a big blow. Michael Beale was also asked about fan pressure. He says he meets with. He says that he accepts the booing that went on at Ibrox in that Old Firm game. Fans are right to boo because the performances haven't been good enough. He also says he speaks to James Bisgrove every day, and he's part of a bigger plan at Rangers, but he's well aware it's a results-driven business and he has to get results. He's a man under pressure, Adam. We need a result tomorrow. I don't think we just need a result. I think we need a performance as well to give whatever the fans that are still on his side and ones that are maybe wavering at this moment in time, a bit of belief that he can turn things around.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think a scrappy win tomorrow is anywhere near good enough. Obviously, we'll take it, and it's another notch on the road, hopefully. But yeah, for me, it needs to be massive upticks in performance. Obviously, you do a lot of analysing during the international break as fans and various group chats, etc. I think in a couple that I'm in, we sort of got to a point where you would think over this last year domestically, league results had been pretty good. We've sort of come short in the bigger games, 4 of them really out of the 5. The last 5 Old Firm games, we've come up short in those. But in the other games, I guess the general feeling is we've managed to beat those teams consistently, which is great. But for me, you could count on one hand the number of actually very, very good performances within that. You're talking about maybe a couple of times away in Edinburgh where the game opens up and we can hit teams on the counter. We know that we still, for me, have that issue of being able to perform and play well against low blocks and create lots of high quality chances. I think that's the thing we can reference after the game where we had 25 shots. If 15 of them are from stupid areas or out the box or as a result of stramashes, etc., that doesn't speak to consistency of quality. It doesn't look good moving forward. So for me, it needs to be well worked chances, well worked goals. And yeah, a couple of goals tomorrow would be great, but for me, it's about a win. But we really need to see performances as well. It's not going to be enough just to scrape through and rely on a set piece or a penalty or a moment of magic. We need to start to see more consistent quality in the final third.
Yeah, someone asked in the comments, was Michael Beale asked about Ridvan. He was. I'm trying to figure out what his response was. We'll bring you that as soon as we get it. Incidentally, that press conference you can watch on our Rangers Review YouTube channel now, folks. So if you want to head over there after this video, of course, because you want to be tuning into myself and Adam talking all things Rangers. Kev gets in touch. He says Perth has been a sticky place to go the last few years. It absolutely is, Adam. I'm not a big fan of half-12 kickoffs for a start, and Perth. Rangers have came up a cropper there many a time in the past. I'm thinking even last season when Gio's team went up there, struggled, and that was at the beginning of the end, really. This is a huge game tomorrow, isn't it? He needs to emerge with all 3 points. Anything less, and it's hard to see a way back.
Yeah, St Johnstone are the worst team in the league. Did terribly in the League Cup group stages, and I think they've only got, was it two draws? I think maybe out the first four.
One was at Parkhead, wasn't it?
One was at Parkhead, which is great. But yeah, for me, I think we really need to be going out there and doing well. It is a sticky place. You're right. There's been a few times where Morelos has pulled us out a hole. I'm sure did Canberra score a few years ago?
He did. There's
a draw.
Flash from the past.
Yeah, to scrape a draw. So it hasn't been a happy hunting ground, but it's absolutely fine to say that, and it's a valid thing. But we can't use it as an excuse. Oh, that's a difficult place to go. It really, really shouldn't be. So, that's just that we just need to go on with it and get going. I'm the same as you. I like the Saturday game if we win and we get it out of the way in time for Super Soccer Saturday. But we don't have very good records at that time on a Saturday, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan whatsoever. And incidentally, on Florian Camberry, the last I heard he was at Sheffield Wednesday, but if you know where he is now, folks, let us know in the comments. It'd be interesting to find out where he's playing his football now. Caroline says that I'll take any win tomorrow. Yeah, it is a results-driven business. Michael Beale did touch on that in his press conference, but I think now we're going to have to start seeing, as Adam said, a couple of performances over in Edinburgh last season aside, it's been not entertaining to watch in the main. And at the end of the day, it's an entertainment business, and Rangers have got enough players at their disposal to put on a show for the supporters that are heading up there to Perth tomorrow. In terms of that, Adam, Joshua had a piece on the website, of course, about the 9 different 11s that Michael Beale has selected in the opening 9 games of the season. I fully expect a different 11 for game number 10. Well, it will be because Todd Cantwell isn't playing. How do you expect Rangers to line up tomorrow? A very attack-minded formation, do you reckon?
Expectation versus reality is a big thing here. How do I expect us to line up? I would be shocked if I'd be shocked if Jack or Lundstrom don't play. I have to say, I think the manager loves that conservatism in these games. For me personally, I'm done with that just now. I want to see us playing as many players who are capable physically and on the front foot as we can. So what I think and what the manager thinks, I'm sure, are two very different things, but that's why he's the manager and I'm not. So I would suggest the back four probably picks itself. I'm not sure. Like we said, we don't have the full quotes on the Ridvan situation yet. Is it possible am I hoping or clutching that he's going to be used more domestically and Barisic will be used more in Europe? I don't know if that's reality. So I think for just now, we'll see Barisic, Suter, Goldson, Tav as a back four. I would like to see in the middle maybe something a little bit different. I would have liked to see Kieran Dowell come back in. Obviously, he's now going to be out for a bit longer, but just to give that left-footed balance in there, I think would be really nice. So maybe it would be good to see Raskin, Cifuentes, and then I guess one of Jack and Lundstrom. If it's Jack, then fair enough. Maybe that'll be what he will do. But then up top, I think it sounds like, given Tom Lawrence is doing the press conference as well, I know that's not an exact science, but it sounds like he's going to come in and start, which would be good. Like to see him play. And then up top, I'd probably like to see Danilo and Roof play together. As a sort of a two with Lawrence in behind and Cifuentes able to come up and support as well. Given the injuries to Cantwell and Dowell, I think Jack and Lawrence coming in for me would be decent in there. And then you've still got guys like Lammers and Dessers and Matondo and Sima to come off the bench if we need them in this game. So that's probably what I would go with. Try and keep a bit of a solid structure behind the ball with Raskin and Jack if we can, but give Raskin license to move forwards. And then have Cifuentes and Lawrence getting up in support of Danilo and Roof, who can be a little bit more flexible than Dessers and can split wide if they want to and sort of try and create those angles up the top of the pitch. That's what I'd be hoping for.
Yeah, lots of comments coming in with regards to tomorrow's team. Alison raising the point, the midfield is key, but the forwards need to start scoring goals. So far, not good enough. That's that. We do need our forwards to start scoring goals. We do need our forwards, our big money forwards, to start playing. I think Adam and Danilo.
That'd be nice, yeah.
Yeah, that would be nice. We'd like to see them start the game tomorrow. Francis saying that Lawrence, Danilo and Roof need to start for me tomorrow. I can't disagree with that. There's another point here from Tommy Scott, just on the Cantwell injury. Of course, if you are just joining us, folks, he's out for the next 3 to 4 weeks. He says, would you put Lammers in the Cantwell role? Lammers an interesting one. I know that Craig Moore came out in support of him yesterday, Adam, and saying that he's still shown for the ball despite getting heavily criticised for that miss against Celtic. He still would like him in the team. What's your feeling about Lammers? Have you been convinced so far by him? Is he an impact sub for you at this moment in time?
Well, it depends what we want him to do, or it depends what the manager wants him to do, because when he was signed, my initial reaction was absolutely not as a centre forward for a team that is badly needing to score goals. That's just an absolute no-go. However, then the manager starts to talk about him being a number 10 and playing a little bit deeper, and you start to think, okay, he's maybe trying to mimic Joe Aribo's skill set. I mean, Aribo wasn't exactly prolific in front of goal. Had scored more than Lammers has scored in the last few years, to be fair. So if he's trying to mimic that and he wants someone who's decent back to goal, can sort of use his physicality to hold players off, bring others into play, has nice touch, nice feet, I can kind of see that. But for me, the big thing in the summer was the last position I thought we needed to invest in was someone to play in the number 10 role, because we had Todd Cantwell there. So I was scratching my head at it. But again, you sort of give that leeway and you think, okay, well, if he comes in, if we're able to get all of other players in as well, and we've got Lammers too as a player that can play in there, great. But then you think of the positions that we weren't able to strengthen because we brought someone in that role who maybe we didn't need to. So the jury's out for me, but I think it really depends on what we're judging him on. If we're judging him on someone who is going to be decent in the build-up and can link and can do well, I think we've seen flashes of that. If people are judging him on being a goal scorer and coming in to score 15, 20 goals this season, I think everyone's going to be disappointed because he's not going to do that. And then I guess the flip side of that is, for £3.5 million, should we expect a player who is capable of doing everything in the final third and being one of the best players in the league? I personally think yes, even though £3.5 million is not a lot of money outside of Scotland, it is a lot of money to us inside Scotland. So for me, there's two sides of it. There's sort of the type of player, the expectation, and what the manager wants them to do. But the jury's still definitely out for me.
Yeah, totally agree. I need to see more from him. I mean, he's showed in flashes. You can tell he's a decent player. But I stem back. I had a chat with a Frankfurt podcaster, and he told me when he was there on loan, he had all the ability in the world, but he just couldn't put it all together. And it was maybe more of a mentality issue than anything else. But finding his best position is certainly up for debate at this moment in time. Another interesting point as well coming in from a couple of posters here. William White says needs to go for 3-5-2. If he does, then we'll know at least he's trying something that we can recognise. And Harry also echoes that. Would you not want to go with a back three? Are we seeing a back three tomorrow, Adam? I would be surprised if we see that. Would you?
I would be surprised, and it also depends. Again, we know he's very conservative as a manager. If it's going to be a back three with Barisic and Tavernier as wing backs, and then still playing a holding midfielder, absolutely not. I'm not.
Yeah, too defensive.
Not having that at all. If it's going to be maybe Lundstrom in the back three stepping out, and we've got an attacking central midfield, or maybe Matondo playing as a left wing back or something to try and get us up the pitch, that would be interesting to see 100%. But just a straight back three with two full backs playing as wing backs and a holding midfielder, no, that's even more conservative than we've been doing over the last few weeks. So it really depends on the makeup of it. I wouldn't be averse to it. I think it could be interesting to help us change the avenues of attack. Getting the fullbacks a little bit higher up might mean they've got a bit more space and opportunity to try something a little bit different. But yeah, I can't see it tomorrow.
Yeah, I tend to agree. And there's an interesting point as well coming in as well. Just in relation to the back three, we had a chat yesterday when I was on with Joshua. There was a post asking us whether you bring in Ben Davies, and Francis raises the point. Do you think we'll see Davies back on the pitch tomorrow? He has been. He is in the Europa League squad, of course. He has been back training. Michael Beale did say last week, 2 weeks ago, of course, before the international break. He is back and ready to play, but he just prefers John Souttar alongside Connor Goldson. The issue I have with that, Adam, is they are prone to mistakes at this moment in time. I'm not saying Ben Davies isn't prone to a mistake, but is it maybe time to change things up at the back? I know you said probably the back four picks itself, but Ben Davies, does he deserve an opportunity tomorrow?
Do you know, he probably does, to be fair, because Davies, there was calls for Davies to be dropped for less mistakes than Souttar has made, if we're being honest. Obviously, with Souttar, there's that physicality, which I think fans give him a little bit more leeway on. And for me, he's better on the ball than Davies. So the overall package, I think, is still probably still in Souttar's favour right now. But if Davies was getting slaughtered for 2 high-profile mistakes, then, I mean, John Souttar's probably at 5 so far this season, probably indirectly or directly causing goals. To be fair, most of the defenders are. But if it's a straight conversation between Souttar and Davies, as we imagine it is, I can't see Goldson being losing his place. Then there's probably Davies probably has a right to query why he can't get in the team. But I think for me, on the basis of everything that we've seen just now, I think probably still going with Souttar because he's got more of a potential upside.
Yeah. Yeah, listen, I agree with you. I think Ben Davies, certainly, if I did see him in the starting 11 tomorrow, I wouldn't be too unhappy with that. And I think he certainly he's been biding his time for an opportunity. Souttar's an interesting one. I like Souttar, but he has been costing Rangers goals at this moment in time. So, it'll be interesting to see who Michael Beale selects tomorrow. Just we touched on Ridvan. I'm still trying to find out what Michael Beale did say when he was quizzed about him in the press conference. But of course, when the Europa League squad was announced earlier on in the week, Adam, that was one of the big notable omissions. No Ridvan in that squad. Leon Balogun and Kieran Dell, of course, who is injured, not in the squad either. What does that tell you about Ridvan's prospects at Rangers, do you reckon?
Not very much, unfortunately. I think people listening or people that follow on Twitter will know I've been a big fan of the idea of Ridvan, but I guess again, reality is different. I don't buy into people saying he hasn't played well or anything like that. I think other than that half in Hoffenheim, where to be honest, nobody was very well and it was a friendly. I think Ridvan has been good any time that he's came in. So I don't buy that. I think that's people just reaching for something because maybe they like Barisic or maybe they don't like the amount of money that we've spent, so they want us to get rid of Ridvan. The issue I've got with Ridvan is he can't seem to stay fit. And if he does, he's clearly not impressing in training for the manager who, if the manager had a player there that he was confident would come in and be a game changer, then I don't think I was going to say I don't think he wouldn't be playing him, but there's a few further forward that I think are game changers that he's not playing. So who knows on that one. So for me, it's a shame. But ultimately, if Ridvan can't stay fit enough to be in contention, then it really doesn't matter how good you think he's going to be or how much money we have spent on him or will spend on him. If he can't stay fit enough to be in contention first and foremost, then he doesn't really have much of an answer. Probably disappointed that he comes out of the disappointed that he comes out of the Euro squad, but I guess if you look at it more logically, there's maybe a little bit more flexibility further back in terms of the fullbacks, with Sterling being able to cover both sides. It's maybe just came down to would I rather have another forward in the team, or would I get rid of a left back that might end up being third choice? You could argue when Sterling come on against Celtic, then Ridvan was technically, or when Sterling started against Celtic, that technically made Ridvan third choice at that time. So maybe the manager's just thinking that way, thinking Sterling can cover both sides. I'll get another attacker in for the squad, and he just means he's missed out. Which I'm disappointed about. I thought and still think he's going to be a very, very good player, but it's just not happening.
I think Bonner, if he's fit, starts tomorrow. He's the preferred left back, and by all accounts, he has been performing steadily. I don't have any complaints about Bonner this season, I've got to say, when he's played for Rangers, and I know he turned up for Croatia in the international break as well, so I think he will get the nod tomorrow. An interesting one, a few comments coming in here, Adam. I'd like to get your thoughts on this. Connor Goldson coming in for a bit of stick as well. He doesn't. We don't normally speak about him being dropped from the team, but a number of posters raising that point. He says, let's drop Suter, but keep Goldson, who's made a load of mistakes himself, but oh wait, he is undroppable. And Hugo Baird with the point, he says, I would start with Suter and Davis. Can't see it myself, I've got to say. However, Connor Goldson, and we know he had that own goal at PSV. He's not immune to criticism either this season, is he?
He's not immune to criticism, but what I would say is he's probably immune to being dropped by the manager. Therefore, it's a moot point. And I don't think hypotheticals are great, and we do talk about that here. But there is a chance that Ridvan could play. There is a chance that Danilo could play. I don't think there's any chance of Connor Goldson's fit that he doesn't play. And to be fair, I think over the piece, I think that's absolutely valid. Yes, there have been plenty of mistakes over the course, but I think out of the three, he's made the least amount of mistakes this in the last few months or so, as Goldson, Suter and Davies. So for that, plus the manager just trusts him. He's one of the manager's guys. We talk about this with Tavernier and Jack and Lundstrom. These guys are going to play more minutes than fans probably want them to, and the manager trusts them. It could be to his detriment, absolutely. I would be up for seeing another partnership at centre half to try and if there's ways that we can eradicate mistakes and get things moving, same as at fullback, if we can change that up to get something that makes us look a little bit more of a functional attacking team and able to defend a bit better, I'd be all for it, but I just don't think he's going to drop him.
Yeah, I agree with you. Right, before we wrap up and get a score prediction from you, first of all, Sean Farren gets in touch. Derek, I see your factor 50 is still there. It must be warm there. It actually isn't. It's got a bit overcast this week, which is absolutely sensational news because it was sweltering last weekend and the beginning of this week. So, but it's there just in case, Sean. You can't take chances. I get sunburned when it's cloudy, so you can't take chances with the sun, Adam.
No, I'm just glad it's factor 50. I wasn't sure what it was, and it was a bit early in the morning to ask, so that's all good.
Yeah, it's the old sun cream, folks, just in case anyone was wondering. Right, Adam, tomorrow, are we expecting anything radical and get a score prediction from you? How do you see it ending up?
I think we should be expecting something radical, but whether that transpires or not, I'm going to err on the side of caution and say no. I think it will be a scrappy game. And I'm going to say that I'm going to go for a 2-1. I think it should and needs to be a lot more than that, but I think the manager will be taking it as a point. Let's just start racking up wins and seeing where we get to, unless he's decided to unveil something radical in these 10 days that he didn't see fit to unveil during pre-season in terms of a new style or new attacking intent. I'm not sure that will happen. So for me, I think it's going to be a bit of a stodgy 2-1.
Yeah, I'd love to disagree with you, and I know that some of the comments are people are more optimistic than me and you, Adam. Peggy's going for a 3-0 win. Roberto going for a 4-0 Rangers win. Oh, how I'd love that to be the case tomorrow lunchtime when Rangers head up to McDermott Park. Lovely stuff. Think that'll do there. Adam, if people are want to find out more about you and the work you do with Heart in Hand, how do they find out?
You can follow me on Twitter for some terrible takes. It's at Adamski152.
Excellent stuff. So go and follow Adam, folks. Pleasure having them on as always. Just a reminder for our YouTube members, I'll be on a little later on, around about 5 o'clock tonight. We'll be joined by Ali Bain over in the good old US of A for our weekly Q&A show. We'll set that up shortly. So if you get your points across, we'll answer as many questions as we possibly can. And we'll have all the usual coverage tomorrow up in Perth. Pre-match video, post-match reaction. Hopefully, we're talking about a much-needed Rangers win. So we hope you can join us for that. Thanks, everyone, for interacting with the show as ever. Huge thanks to Adam. Enjoy the rest of your Friday. Bye for now.